Hi everyone, Bernard here. I hope you're all staying safe and well, and welcome to my film and TV channel. I hope you enjoy what I've got for you today, and please check out as you're watching this little links on screen as well for different things on my Facebook and Twitter, and of course my football channel as well. And please, all your comments are very welcome. Just let us know and push that subscribe button. Don't forget, please push the subscribe button. Make sure your notification set to public as well if you want to know when these vlogs are coming out. Push that notification button as well. So anyway, please enjoy. Right, we're going to have a look at one of the biggies of the summer, one of the biggest blockbuster film releases. I suppose if you spend $200 million on a film these days, that's quite high, isn't it, considering the circumstances at the moment? But yeah, 127 minutes, so they give us our money's worth, I suppose, with this one. And of course, it's the fantasy adventure film Jungle Cruise, directed by Jean-Colette Serra, from screenplay written by Glenn Ficarra, John Recu and Michael Green, of course based on the Walt Disney theme park attraction of the same name, and produced, although you can have a film based on a theme ride, well, they've done it before, so hey, quite successfully, so there you go. Produced of course by Walt Disney Pictures, and the film stars Dwayne Johnson, of course. I always think of him as The Rock. I'm sorry, I know we're well past that now, but that's how I think of him. Emily Blunt, the wonderful Emily Blunt, Edgar Ramirez, Jack Whitehall, Jesse Plemons and Paul Giamatti. What's it about? Well, it's a ride, isn't it? It's a ride down the... It's a bit like the theme ride, I suppose, watching the film. A ride down the Amazon with wisecracking, I use that term very loosely, skipper Frank Wolf and the intrepid researcher Dr. Lily Horton. Lily travels from London, England to the Amazon jungle and enlists Frank's questionable service to guide her downriver on L'Aquila, his ramshackle boat. Lily is determined to uncover an ancient tree with unparalleled healing abilities, possessing the power to change the future of medicine. Thrust on this epic quest together, the unlikely duo encounters innumerable dangers and supernatural forces, all lurking in the deceptive beauty of the lush rainforest. But as the secrets of the lost tree unfold, the stakes reach even higher for Lily and Frank, and their fate and mankind's hang in the balance. Will they save us? Who knows? Hey, we'll see over the next 2 hours, however long it was. Released in the US on July the 30th. It's actually simultaneously released in theatres and digitally through Disney Plus with Premier Access. I have no idea how much that cost, but someone's mentioned $30 before. Is that for a family pack? I have no idea, but there you go. Obviously, it's now in the cinemas in the UK. It's been in the cinemas in the UK for a couple of weeks as I'm recording this on Sunday, the 15th of August at 11 a.m. and that's when all these scores and comments are based. That's that time. So, is it any good? Let's have a quick look. So, we'll look at our usual sources. Rotten Tomatoes. The film holds an approval rating of 63%, based on 304 reviews, with an average rating of just my watchable score. If you know my vlogs, you watch my vlogs, of 6 out of 10, with 190 fresh, which is pretty good, but just 114 rotten, so quite a fair chunk of rotten in there. The consensus reads, its craft isn't quite as sturdy as some of the classic adventures it's indebted to, but Jungle Cruise remains a fun, family-friendly voyage. Yeah, that's a similar sentiment myself, I think, with that one. But let's have a couple of rottens, a couple of fresh. David Fear is pretty rotten on it. He's from the Rolling Stone. It's something closer to an amusement park attraction named Generic Blockbuster Cruise, bit cruel, where you slowly glide past a bunch of prefab setups and the whole thing moves inexorably forward on a track while a skipper cracks the same corny jokes. Yeah, it's pretty weak though. I know they are supposed to be weak, but it just didn't quite work. And so too rotten is Mr. Johnny Oleksinski of the New York Post. He said, to bulk up the film material, the film steals from countless others better adventure movies to create an altogether less satisfying combo plate that costs $30 to rent on Disney Plus. So there you go. I knew I got that from somewhere. I mean, is this true? Let me know in the comments, please. That sounds a ridiculous amount of money, but there you go. But I wouldn't touch it with a barge pole, Disney. I'm not. Yes. not my favourites from many, many moons ago when I used to own a video shop, but say, there you go, they are what they are. It is what it is. But there are plenty of fresh, yes, plenty of flesh in this. Plenty of fresh reviews, including Wendy Ide from The Observer here in the UK. She said, Colette Sarah creates a romp of a picture booby-trapped with adventure movie tropes, arcane curses, snakes and evil Germans. Yeah, I think we've seen all that before, haven't we? Which, while they might seem familiar to Indiana Jones fans, still combine to make for a decent family flick. Well, there you go. And Matt Zoller cites of RogerEbert.com. In the pantheon of Disney movies based on Disney theme park rides, Jungle Cruise is pretty good. Leagues better than Drek, like Haunted Mansion. I quite liked Haunted Mansion. Though not quite as satisfying as the original Pirates of the Caribbean. Well, what could be? Rotten Tomatoes, the certified audience, so the guys who perhaps paid 30 quid on Disney, I'm not too sure, but the guys who actually paid to watch this, not get them for free and previews, etc., 4.5 out of 5, so that's not bad, is it? That's 9 out of 10, so they're quite impressed, the audience. Obviously the critics not so much, but it's sort of more or less the audience we're more worried about, isn't it? So that bodes well, doesn't it? Metacritic, the other critic site we'll look at, it's only got an average rating of 50 out of 100, so 5 out of 10. Not great. That's based on 52 critics who score it anywhere between 40 and 80. Movie Nation's Roger Moore, he scored it 50, dead on halfway. He said it's a film that wants to be a little bit of this, a lot of that, and funny in the bargain. You want to like it so much you can sense Disney getting a new franchise out of it, even if it doesn't quite come off. But if they do sequels, they'd bloody well better hire somebody who knows comedy to film them. Absolutely, I totally agree with that one. The Guardian's Peter Bradshaw, he was one of the lower marks. He gave it 40 out of 100, 4 out of 10. The spark that was there in the opening section disappears and the film splutters out into something directionless and derivative and dull. There you go. But there's still positives. IGN's Matt Fowler, he liked it. 80 out of 100 or 8 out of 10. Jungle Cruise is a rollicking adventure full of humour and heart, anchored by Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt, winning heroes. Okay, so there is positivity. Internet Movie Database. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. The public, you and me, people like me, just watching it. Go on, pay our dollar or pay our pound to go in and watch this. Internet Movie Database, 6.7 out of 10. So that is not bad. That's a good score. That's okay. That's based on 65,657 scores and reviews as I'm recording this. So quite a healthy number. And listen to this. Of that 65,657, 57,283. That's a massive 87% scored this 6 or more out of 10. So that's not bad. They scored it 6, 7, 8, 9, or even 10 out of 10, which, you know me, I don't agree with 10 out of 10s, but there you go, that's another story. But that's quite impressive, isn't it? And that sort of reflects what the Rotten Tomatoes viewers audience or verified audience was saying as well, doesn't it? So it does sort of bode well. But yeah, I'm a member of the public. Am I a critic? Probably not. I'm just a member of the public who likes films. But let's see. Yeah, if I rate it as highly, I can tell you now, perhaps not. Of course, it's a film that's going to be compared. Of course, it's going to be compared to stuff like The Mummy and Pirates of the Caribbean, Indiana Jones, etc., etc. And that's fair enough. And it's certainly not up there, in my opinion, with the very best of those. I mean, there's some, obviously, it probably compete with some of them, some of the sequels, etc. But let's face it, it's been a little while since we've seen a real. All right, we've had the things like Welcome to the Jungle and all this sort of thing, but it's been a little while since we've had one of these big, glossy, real action adventure family films. So for that, on that basis, I would say it is a nice effort. It is a nice effort by Disney, and it's what you'd expect. It's what you'd expect from Disney for $200 billion. What do you want? The humour, though, is pretty awful. I mean, it is all right. Some of it is meant to be corny, but just generally, it's not very good. The only thing that is good, or the one thing that was a lot better and kept it going in my eyes, was Emily Blunt, of course, very watchable. She obviously managed to keep my interest for most of the 2 hours plus that it went on. Obviously, there's a lot of CGI, which sort of works. Yeah, nothing wrong. You don't see the join too much. It's okay, but I mean, I'm not into too much CGI. I like a little bit of a story, which I knew I wasn't going to get with this, so I tried to enjoy the CGI, and it's okay. but it does lack real interesting characters, any of the added characters to this. I mean, Jack Whitehall particularly, I don't mind Jack Whitehall, he's okay. I quite like Jack Whitehall, but the lovable other relation that we get in these sort of films, he just didn't really work for me. He just didn't grow on me as the film progressed. I just thought he was pretty boring, to be honest. He's supposed to be funny, he's supposed to be, but he just didn't appeal to me. The chemistry between the two leads as well just didn't work for me either. I didn't particularly feel they were sort of meant to be together, which let's face it, from the get-go, we knew that's what was going to be the aim of it all at the end of this adventure anyway, and perhaps to go on to more adventures. We're talking franchise material here, aren't we? But I don't think, it didn't quite work for me, the chemistry between, even when they didn't supposedly like each other, or when they did supposedly like each other, it just didn't work overall. But the public have been starved of these sort of films over recent times, so I think they were very kind in the scores, and I can thoroughly understand that. I think that's fair enough. I did find it a little bit long. Not surprised. I mean, when you invest a certain amount of money in a film, you've got to at least appear to be giving value for money. So no criticism of that, of the length, because as I say, it is a blockbuster length. If you've got anything between 2 and 3 hours for a blockbuster is totally reasonable. But when it's done, comes down to it, just for me anyway, it was just okay. If there is a franchise, I'm not so sure it excites me to go and watch it like it probably did with the first of the Mummy films, or the first of the Raiders films, or all the other sort of film tropes that we sort of had with this. So it doesn't really think, oh, I can't wait for the next one. But there you go. Not the sort of thing I'd watch again. I mean, I do enjoy watching these. I've certainly watched the Pirates films many times. Certain ones of the Mummy films I've watched loads of times. Indiana Jones films I've watched loads of times, but this doesn't really inspire me to watch it again at any point now or any point in the future, I don't think, which is a great shame, because it's not a bad evening's entertainment. It's okay, but unfortunately it's very soon forgotten afterwards, so I'll be moving on to something else and not really thinking about it that much. It just didn't leave any real lasting impression, apart from spending a little bit of time with the leading lady, which was nice to do. So my score, very basic score, a bit lower than the public. I'm just going to give it my watchable 6 out of 10 for this, and sort of more or less agree, even though I don't like agreeing with them, more or less agree with some of the critics really on this. Their average scores on the critic side, as opposed to the audience, who seem to like it a lot more. And as I said, I can fully understand that, but for me personally, it didn't quite hit the mark. But as I said, it wasn't a total waste of 2 hours 10 minutes of my time, and it was okay for what it was. But I say, I'll soon forget about it, and it's not one I'm going to say, oh please, don't miss this, get to watch this. And younger kids might struggle a little bit with the length. I think older kids who like an adventure film will be totally fine with it. But as I say, there's perhaps not too much. I know it sounds a thing to say, with the family film, a little bit, you need a little bit of adult stuff as well that goes over the kid's head, and there's not really any of that in this. It's, as I say, and the humour is pretty awful. I think one of the critics commented there about the comedy. It is lacking in that department, unfortunately. Anyway, if you get to see this, let me know what you think, and let me know in the comments what you think of Jungle Cruise, which, yeah, as I say, as at this point in time, is on at the theatres here in the UK. Or the old pictures, go to the old pictures here in the UK. Anyway, thanks for watching. We're going to do the rest of the day. Have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More importantly, let's all look after each other. So we meet here again on the Film and TV channel. Or perhaps have a flit across. Have a look at my Manchester City channel, my Citizen channel. A little bit of football. If you fancy that, have a look at that. All I ever ask of you, one simple thing, please. Stay safe, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.